1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
9, 10.
No.
Would you like that?
All right. No, you don't clap. It's just for syncing.
I'm not
only Mike and I clap.
Yeah, you know what? You haven't been here with us long enough to clap.
Yeah, you earn the right to clap later on.
You don't get the
because
clap.
you don't have a fan base yet?
All right, actually, one second. I've got to move the microphone a little bit away from us here.
Someone has to clap.
Please clap. Welcome to it. All right, whatever. We'll just get into it. Hey, welcome to episode 29 of We Can't Code, So We Criticize. This is a weekly video game podcast between three friends. We've got three friends now. So, my name is Bike. Nope, my name is Ben.
Great start. Good start. And I'm Michael.
All right, so good. So we got Ben, we got Mike, and
And
now
I'm
we
Tyler.
have Tyler. We've got Nurse Tyler joining us this episode.
How's everyone doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Can I add in crickets to this part?
Yes,
Where it's
please.
just like, who are you talking to? No. Hey, let's get a nice round of applause. All right, everyone, get it going. All right, there we go.
First guest of the show, and so far it's going awful. I love it.
You fans of Tyler, you may know him from his works at the bar with the ladies, and you'll see him at the hospital with the ladies, and you'll see him driving around in his Tesla with the ladies.
I don't know if you brought up Kill Street Comics before, but I am a character in that.
Oh yeah,
That no longer exists.
Yeah, that's a
the
dead
show.
project.
Because of Tyler.
Because of Tyler. Yeah, so Kill Street Comics, one of my old failed experiments. So you know, maybe Mike will have heard of this. I don't think anyone else will. Yeah, Tyler was a voice actor in that. We're not going to spend too much time on that.
And
No
I was
one's going to
not.
know what the fuck I'm
I was
talking
not
about.
part of that show at all. I was excluded because apparently Ben didn't like me enough to put me in the show. I was like,
We
I'm just messing.
we thought Mike was too Mike. Mike
Too
was too
Mike.
Michael. We were like, all of that we don't want. And
But-
Mike was like, you don't have to say any more. I get you. I understand.
Yeah, so back into the show though, a show where we talk about video games and other stuff. None of us know how to code, so we just criticize a bunch of bullshit, and we then do a top 5 of random stuff. We didn't fully discuss this whole thing. Is Tyler doing the top 5 with us? Does he have his own list or no? Tyler, do you have your own list?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I got like 4 games picked out right now, but I'll figure out a 5th one by the time we start.
You're like, this is not how the podcast works. You're ruining it. Wait, why are you touching my computer? I'm trying to fuck with the stream, goddammit. All right. We're just gonna, whatever. We'll give it a try. I don't know if this episode is even gonna like make it to the air, but we're just gonna keep it going like we usually do. So we'll start out with
What we did for the week.
Tyler, we'll let you go last, so you gotta just listen to us and follow with our lead. So Mike, how was your week?
I'd say it was pretty good for video games wise. We played more Remnant of the Ashes together. No, sorry, Remnant from the Ashes. Still enjoying that game. But we'll talk about maybe that a little bit later after you go, just because we played that one together. But besides that, I sadly didn't play any more of Resident Evil 7 because I got distracted with another game that we talked about 2 podcasts ago now, I think. It was Heroes of Might and Magic 3. I dove into that after you started playing another game because you decided to give Remnant a break and you started playing Prison Architect. And then I was like, you know what? It'd be kind of nice to actually give one of those games a go. And I decided to pull that one out. I absolutely loved it. I have it on Good Old Games, and that thing runs smooth as fuck, and the game still holds up today. The only cutscene looks fucking hideous, looks awful, but the gameplay actually looks fantastic. The gameplay graphics is awesome, it's great, and the gameplay is still fun. And I kind of got stuck into it, and I played that for a couple of hours now, actually. And yeah, I'm still loving it. It's great, love it. If anyone's ever wanted to play it, Get the third one. The third one's the best. I read reviews of the ones past the third one, and everyone says number 3 is still the best. There may be
it's funny to me that that's the case.
Yeah, me too.
Like, this is basically Donkey Kong Country graphics in this game. If no one knows what the fuck this game looks like, it is like Donkey Kong graphics.
Well,
they made 2D sprites from 3D designs.
It has a nice style to it. I think the style is great, and I think it still holds up today. I'm still enjoying it.
It's like if someone... I understand that, but it's like if someone took Super Mario Brothers 3 from the Super Nintendo and was like, this is it. It's never getting any better. like someone
We've
looked
reached
at
the pinnacle.
Someone looked at the past 25 years of Mario and they were like, well, we learned from our mistakes.
The only bad graphics is like the port, like, because you there's like you have to buy heroes to move soldiers around on the map, and their portrait for them are just hideous. I sent a picture to Ben one time just to show him how bad one character looked. And her name was Gem. It looked like it should have been named Jim, because the chick looked like straight up like a dude. It was the funniest shit ever.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say I played Remnant with Mike, and I also played Slay the Spire, which is a game that Tyler played. So I'm kind of my last week was kind of split between you two. You know, I played this game with Mike. I played this game, a game that Tyler also played. So just to get myself out of the way really quickly, I will say I started up Prison Architect again, like Mike said, and I only got through the tutorial, confiscated a bunch of like screwdrivers and like a gun. Somehow someone got a gun, and then like a couple power drills and shit. I killed a guy, so it was all a pretty good time, but didn't really do much into that. So Mike, let's focus on Remnant, and then after that, then Tyler and we can talk about SLS, Slay the Spire, or STS, STD, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Remnant from the Ashes, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still loving it. I know that you're kind of waving on it a little bit, just a little bit yourself, though.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little burnt out. I still like the core of the game. The main reason that I play the game is still because I want to see each boss. But beyond that, it's kind of hard to get into it because there's like the upgrading system is really slow. Collecting the resources and the crafting materials is really slow, and I just kind of want more. And this is a problem that they can totally solve down the road. You know, if they keep updating it and patching it and adding new things to it, then that shouldn't be an issue down the road. But right now, it's just kind of like, I want it to be a more full game. But otherwise, Mike, you are having kind of an opposite reaction.
Yeah, because I don't play for the loot. I'm playing it for the actual game. Like, the full gameplay for me is entertaining as hell for me. I love the challenge to get to between bosses, and then the bosses or scenario fights, because sometimes it's not really a boss fight, it's like some type of scenario that you have to deal with, and I find those are extremely fun. And I come to the conclusion to myself that actually getting between these bosses, to kill them and all that stuff, is actually most of the time a lot harder because just the onset of enemies you have to deal with. But I feel
So is it just like a boss rush?
You can almost call it that, to be honest. The story, honestly, is not... There's no real story there. It's kind of like Dark Souls, where it's there, but you don't really pay attention to it. And...
Yeah, so...
It feels like Dark Souls, Tyler. I think, Tyler, you'd like this game.
I'd probably like it, then I'm obsessed with Dark Souls.
Well, yeah, basically, so it's like you go from... The game is focused around the bosses, so you go from boss to boss, and then you fight monsters in between that. But realistically, the reason that you play the game is because the bosses... They're where the challenge is. They're where you get the crafting materials. That's how you get the guns. Like, the bosses are the focus at the end of the day.
Well, the thing is, though, you not only get guns, but you also get abilities. And then you can attach ability to your secondary and your main weapon. And that's it. And these abilities can be random things like, you summon turrets to help you out. Or you do a healing ability. You create a shield bubble. So there's multiple different ones, and you get those from killing bosses, too. And honestly, I've been just using this... the turret one only, and I've been totally fine. But yeah, it's definitely... I realize, though, it's like... Because, like, with Ben's complaint that there's not enough loot, I feel like the loot drop is just the same amount as you would do... that you get in Dark Souls... I think I was playing 3. Yeah, like Dark Souls 3. Like, because... Once again, I'm a novice Dark Souls player. You're much more into it than me, so please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like in Dark Souls that there is loot, but and gears, but it's very sparse though throughout the whole entire game. Am I correct?
And the gear isn't necessarily better than each other. Everything's supposed to be completely balanced in Dark Souls. Like, if you want to use a certain sword or spear or something, just is what you like to use more. If there was a best weapon, everyone would use it. It would ruin the game.
Yep, that's how much exactly this one is too. All the armors have their own special abilities to it. Like, the one I'm using is that I do more damage when the enemy is 5 meters from me. But there's another one which will increase your attack damage and your attack speed by 300% if you do a perfect dodge. And there's other ones that let you do critical hit after every reload you do. And so so there's multiple different sets, and they all have their own reasons to use them, and you can use whatever you want. The problem so far with it is that the laser, there's a beam rifle that you can get if you kill a certain boss, and this beam rifle is overpowered. It's the essential easiest weapon to use, and it's so efficient that it really I don't feel like using the other main weapons. That's so that's the downfall of it. But what's kind of funny though now with it is that my secondary is more powerful than the laser rifle. So I'm actually playing next time I'm playing I'm gonna force myself and switch to a different main weapon, just because I'm mostly using my secondary. Well, they don't call. Are
you still using your fire SMG?
Yeah, I'm still using the fire SMG. That they buffed it, and so it's crazy fucking good. Even though I got that, there was another SMG that Ben was using. I finally was able to get that one, and I'm like, the fire's still way better. And the sad thing about the Remnant from the Ashes is that so far, even though with the the submachine gun I'm using is technically it's called a flamethrower, so its ability that's attached to it is permanent, and it makes it the secondary a flamethrower, and it's just so fucking good. And the other abilities in Remnant from the Ashes don't even come close to it, to be honest. They just because I don't know, because a lot of time, a lot of the other abilities have side effects like corrosive, slow, and all this other stuff, but they just don't. You can't really feel like they're actually working against the enemies. Did you ever feel that way, Ben? What are you guys doing over there?
Well, Tyler's dog is jumping around a little bit. Tyler and I are drinking some Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. Tyler is very quietly trying to take hits from his e-hookah. So as you're talking, Tyler's jiggling around the ice in his glass a little bit, cheers? Yeah, I'll fucking cheers with you. Fine. Cheers. All right.
Nice. Well, I mean, as long as you address it, because I was wondering what's going on. Shit, if I knew you guys were drinking, I would have gotten myself something to drink, too.
No, it's fine. What was making me laugh is Tyler's dog is jumping up and down on his bed, and I'm thinking, in the podcast, people are probably thinking, what are they doing? Hearing a bunch of, you know. But yeah, so no, I think that I like the other abilities though. I've got an ability that does corrosive damage shots, and that just demolishes people.
Does it?
I love that
okay,
one.
Good. Because the other one, I've been trying different ones just for fun. And I just keep on going back to the flamethrower. It's just so much fun using that damn ability.
So it's all guns. There's no melee weapon.
There is melee weapon. You do have a melee weapon, and so there's a wider range. There's sledgehammers, scythes, swords, and this buzzsaw pickaxe kind of thing. So yeah, there is melee weapons too in it. The melee weapons cannot put ability on it. They're more of your actual secondary weapon, but they are very efficient weapons too.
You'd never use a melee weapon on a boss.
Yeah,
is probably.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
For basic units, you use it all the time though. You can use them on basic enemies really efficiently, but for bosses, because a lot of times these bosses are fucking huge, so you don't really want to be right next to them using it.
I heard there's multiple ways. It's either there's multiple ways to kill a boss, or there's multiple things that you can do to bring them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was facing this guy is like a tree basically, and I actually got a special weapon for doing this, which is cool. But so we were just unloading onto the guy's face, but there was one guy who was more decked out than us. He had a beam rifle before Mike and I had the beam rifle. And he was shooting at his leg, and me and the other guy, we were like, well, what the fuck is this about? But sure enough, after laying into the tree for, 10 minutes on his leg blows off, and he has to crawl around. So it really, hurts him and he can't move as fast in a lot of his abilities. Like, he's not able to, like, reach down and swipe at you. He can only do, like, a side swipe with his arm at that point. So that was really cool. And then from killing him, we got access to a special axe, and it was an axe made. It said specifically in the description, made from destroying the tree ant's leg.
Yeah. Dark Souls does the same thing on a couple bosses. Like the first Dark Souls did that on several bosses.
Yeah, so
that was actually one of my favorite things.
So, like, honestly, Tyler, I would call this game. I would say it's easier. It's challenging, but not as challenging as Dark Souls. For me, it's a perfect balance. Because, like, I could not do Dark Souls. It was too hard for me, sadly. I just couldn't put the time into it. And I feel like Remnant from the Answers put a perfect balance, though, for me. It's still challenging, where you still have to focus and pay attention. But it's not, like, frustrating hard as, like, Dark Souls can be. And I feel like there's less cheap shots that are thrown at you, too. Given there's a reason for that, too, because the levels are randomly generated, too. So... Because, like, Dark Souls is perfectly built. Every level is built with every single thing put into it. Like, enemies are specifically put in certain areas and all that stuff. So there's, like...
Oh, the game's randomly generated?
Yeah, so... And you ran into... So,
cool, okay.
And it's also with the bosses, too. So you never know what type of boss you're going to get when you go throughout the game. And there's, like, mini bosses, too, that can change as well.
Yeah, there's, like, a bunch of rooms that they made. Like, you know, there's rooms, there's hallways, there's, like, corridors, and then they just throw it all together and it makes a map.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
And there's also random dungeons, too, which have, like, some random events. I don't know if you... Because obviously it doesn't seem like you listened to our podcast when we talked about it. But, like, here's a great example. Like, there's a dungeon that we went into, and you're constantly losing health in the dungeon, but you get massive health back for killing enemies. And the main goal is to get to the other side of the dungeon without, you know, so you have to run, kill enemies, and while losing health just over time, and also worrying about getting hit too by enemies. But you have to fight the enemies to get more health back. So it's a really cool dungeon. There's, like, random things like that placed throughout the game. So it's very interesting and a lot of fun.
Can I try your hookah, Tyler?
Yeah, sure.
You got the hookah going now, too? Damn, you guys have a little party going on.
Well, it's like the handheld...
It's a vape.
It's
whatever.
Vape. Jesus, I was like, okay, you guys really have that set up over there.
It's like, you should have flown over.
I know, right? It was like, honestly, I was like, all right, guys, you can be drinking, but let's not be throwing hookahs now going.
Tyler, get out the cocaine.
But yeah, so I'm still loving it. I'm pretty excited to play some more, but now, like, I'm really getting into Heroes Might and Magic 3. That was
Might
like,
and Magic 3.
Yeah, that's good though. My other friend recently told me he's done with Divinity for a little bit. So, actually, Tyler, if you had some free time, you could probably sub in for him, or Mike, you as well. But I'm gonna look into more of those strategic, like, management games like you, Mike. After having that one episode, I was very nostalgic on a lot of these games, and I had also heard that Two Point Hospital is actually a pretty good management game. So I thought I might try that, but we'll see. I'm actually a little disappointed, Mike, that you don't have an opportunity to play Sim Ant again, because after hearing you talk about Sim Ant the other episode, that game just sounds so cool, man.
It was so much fun. I'm just so sad that, like, I'm surprised that Good Old Games doesn't even have it. I'm like, how do you not have that? It's just a... And the thing is, too, every single time I bring it up to people and they played it too, everyone agrees it's just a fun game. I'm surprised it just not got carried on. It just got lost in the weeds somehow. So weird. But
so I just pressed the button.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch any movies though or TV shows this week though. God,
you don't have to, like, hold the button down.
Shut up. Sorry.
God,
I'm gonna try one more time.
I'm ruining your podcast.
No, Ben's doing that just fine by himself.
So what's? Oh, I didn't hear the last podcast. Sim Ant's pretty sweet though. You build you manage an ant colony.
So yeah, you manage
an
an
old
ant colony.
game.
Yeah. So what it is?
Is it like SimCity at all, or?
Yeah,
No.
like exactly. It's in the same way that you have, like, things that you have to build and you have a colony that you have to take care of, yes. In terms of how it looks and what you do, you're just managing ants and like ant holes and
so you
more like units rather than buildings.
Yeah, so depending on who you take over,
like,
so
what
you
buildings
can.
would you make?
Well, you just make.
Like
Ants make little bunch of little tunnels and then big openings in these tunnels.
They what?
Rooms, and that's how ants work, and that's what you do. And then, but then you have to. So you start in someone's backyard, and you have to progress to the house. The thing is,
when did this game come out?
A long time ago. Like, let me just.
Like 1742.
Yeah. And so there's like things you have to worry about.
And this is a game you used to play a long time ago?
Yeah,
you were
I used to
feeling some
play it.
nostalgia
Here, I'll pull it up. So Mike, you can keep talking about it. Tyler, I'll pull it up.
So so Simant came out in 1991. So
you're going to be surprised with the graphics.
So
here.
basically, though, you have to get from the yard to the house. The things you have to watch out for, though, are other ant colonies, tarantulas, some like centipedes, and then so you always choose which ant you have to take over. Me. And then like you can even make more colonies yourself because you have to take over a queen ant, and you take that queen ant to a new tunnel. But first to do that, you have to make a tunnel. So you have to take a worker ant further out, make a tunnel, excavate it out a bit. Then you bring the queen ant, and then you make the queen ant. Princess ant. Well, they still call them queen ants, even though they're not a queen yet. And then that becomes that queen ant, enlarges and starts producing eggs. And then you are in a new area.
Yeah.
And then what's kind of funny too. So like the person who's like, there's like a person that like mows the lawn, and so you can do like an outside view of the whole backyard. So it's kind of like the whole view of work. And so if the person's mowing the lawn in the block you're in and you're above the anthole, you will get chopped up by the lawnmower. It's pretty funny. And so then you just respawn.
Yeah, I'm showing Tyler some parts of the game right now, and we're seeing like the lawn view, and we're seeing like the spider kill an ant and stuff.
I'm thinking we should start like a crowdfunding campaign for Sim Ant VR.
Well, so here's the thing:
first person.
And then so then the main goal is to basically get the person like to make the house condemned, so like to make the people move out. But you have to be careful because you can't expand too much in the backyard, because then they get an exterminator, and the exterminator takes you out, takes out the whole colony, then you lose.
So there was a game that I was looking... Here it is. There was a game that I was looking for on Steam a while ago. When we were doing our Steam recommendations. This game, Empires of the Undergrowth, it is basically what you're talking about.
With good graphics.
With good graphics, yeah. So like if I jump ahead, we can see.
This looks pretty sweet.
So like like they're killing a grasshopper there, and
it almost looks a little bit like that, like Pikmin.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, everything is big.
This is Pikmin.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But
I'm like, I don't have
Empires
Steam
of
open.
the...
Let me get Steam open and take a look at that too then. That's cool.
Yeah. Empires of the Undergrowth. It's not exactly like Sim Ant. It works more on a hexagonal tile, from what I can tell. Like, when you're building your anthill underground, it works with, like, you destroy hexagons. So, in that way, it's kind of like Civ. But otherwise, I mean, you, like, collect fucking grass, from what I can tell.
Well, yeah.
Ant colony management game.
So, let's see. Alright, game. Let's
There's nothing with, like, the house or anything from what I'm seeing here, though. But
bummer.
Yeah, so, like... It's a hexagon grid, and then you build your fortress.
What was it called again? Sorry.
Empires of the Undergrowth.
I had no idea that this was like a genre of video game.
Yeah, like management kind of games.
That's so cool. Like I just want to make sure I save it so I can look it up later.
Did you guys used to play Red Alert ever?
I never got into Red Alert.
It was like the first great RTS game.
That was Command and Conquer, right? Series.
Yeah. It was back when Westworld was in the company.
I played Command and Conquer, but I never played the Red Alert one.
Well, Red Alert, they had this like secret that if you clicked on some like little portion of the starting screen, it started a map which was like Red Alert ant like ant invasion or whatever.
Oh, sweet!
And you had to build up like a base and everything, and you had to do this mission where you invade this ant colony where there's these massively mutated ants that are killing your guys. It's like the craziest shit ever.
I just want to see that really quickly.
Like the first time I found out about it, I was freaking out because I played this game like religiously, and I had no idea that there was like this ant secret to the game.
Is this it or?
Yeah. The giant ants mission.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah. So they just like replace tanks with ants.
Yeah.
Okay, and like enemy units. So everything is still generally the same, except that they're just big ants.
They come out of anthills. Well, there was like 3 or 4 missions, and then at one of the missions you go into like a big ant hive and stuff. You try to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
It was just such a weird Easter egg that they threw into the game. I don't know.
Man, games used to be cool. Now you'd have to pay $20 for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's kind of got like a StarCraft feel to it.
so
Anyway, I feel like we're kind of diverging away from Remnant here. Tyler, you and I could talk about Slay the Spire a little bit. Or, Mike, unless you had something more to say. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that I think that was all we can really say about Remnant from Ashes from this week.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Tyler's put, what did you say, like 36 hours into Slay the Spire in the last week and a half?
Jesus,
I am officially addicted
losers.
to the game. It is so good.
Yeah.
It was in the last Humble Bundle, or the Humble Monthly. So I picked it up, and I actually I wasn't expecting too much because I'm not like the biggest card game person ever, but it's just amazing. It kind of has that feeling with like Isaac, where there's like this random generation.
Yeah.
So
roguelike.
you could, it's totally a roguelike game. Like you don't win that many of them. You win maybe like 10 to 20% of them, but like I don't know. I don't know, Ben. What do you think about it?
No, I like it a lot.
Hey,
Mike, this is where you and I
not to
typically
diverse the
have,
conversation
different...
though here, but why is every game a roguelike? Is it just a rogue game? Because if everything's like a rogue game, then what is the rogue game?
Well, there's a game called Rogue, and it's way back in the day.
And I guess that's fair because we have like Metroid.
I had no idea.
Tyler's dog is losing it because the garage door is going up. Oh, God. We need one of those screens that's like, like, please wait. We're having technical difficulties.
So there's an original Rogue game.
Yeah, so Rogue, the adventure game, the first roguelike from 1980. So...
Well, it's not the first, it is the Rogue game. So... Because I guess, like how people compare...
Yeah, but that's...
what was that? Like, to Metro Prime game. Like, it's like, oh, it's like Metro Prime. Or Metro. It's like, oh, it's like Metro playing with, when you have to keep on going back and forth and stuff. So, I guess, it's just funny. I just never realized... I'd like to know more about this game. That's something that'd be fun to look into.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler and I are just pulling stuff up as we're talking. The game basically looks like Dwarf Fortress, which means it uses... Is hexadecimal the right phrase?
Yeah.
Where, like, they use inputs from the keyboard to generate the map, like periods and backslashes and, like, zeros and stuff. So the map is randomly generated like that. And then, like, each icon means something. So, but that way they were able to randomly generate the map so easily.
Funny.
But yeah, so that was it. The first game is called Rogue, so now people call it roguelikes. It's the same way with having a game that's Dark Souls. You call it a Souls-like, or, a game like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many Souls-like games there are now.
Yeah, Tyler would know a thing or two about that. You've played all of them, haven't you?
Everything but Remnant.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I haven't played Sekiro yet either.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think many people
I
have.
would just mean like From Software, the guys that made Dark Souls. You've played most all of, except for Sekiro.
Yeah, and I've beaten like every other game except for Sekiro like 3 or 4 times. It's so addicting. Like I just love like how intense the combat is. Like the mechanics are amazing on it.
It's pretty solid.
He's our reporter in the field.
Yeah, like when you do an attack in it, it's not that fast. So when you decide to like attack an enemy, and if you choose the timing wrong, you're gonna get fucked over for that.
Yeah, every swing matters in that game. If you fuck up one swing,
definitely.
you're basically like, well, I'm dead.
A lot of punishment.
Yeah, not forgiving.
So, yeah, basically I think that's what Slay the Spire is the games are just recklessly difficult is the one factor. The second thing is that they're randomly generated, and then the third thing...
is it really
I had them in
hard,
my
or
head,
are you
now I
just
can't remember.
bad at it?
No, they're typically very hard. Oh, the third thing is that if you die, then you start from scratch again. Like, there's not like a save point to keep all your stuff. Usually you start from nothing.
There's still like a sense of progression though. Like if you win, you can unlock like additional cards to put into your deck. You can also like unlock additional endings. Like there's like a true ending that takes a lot of different things to unlock. Like you have to beat the game several times.
Mm-hmm.
Get all these like secret keys and stuff. It's like such an addicting game to figure out what the best way to set up a deck is. And there's this whole like deck building like idea that like, okay, I want my deck to be like really strength based, and then you'll choose like cards to boost that certain like aspect of what you're going for.
No, it looks good, and I like the art style too of it too. Looks very nice.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think things are going well with Slay the Spire. I'll be playing it for a little bit. Tyler was saying that they're going to be releasing a 4th character. Do you know anything else about that, Tyler?
They're supposed to release it on beta, so the 4th character is going to be for free, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
I can't really look it up.
What do you?
But they're releasing it on beta like this month at some point, and then it'll be for free, like the official version.
Does Slay the Spire have a producer or no? They go through like did they go through like a producer company, or did they just make it themselves? Like straight up?
The company, I'm not sure. Okay, so
it's a rock paper shotgun. I've heard of them before.
The new character is going to be available by the time this podcast goes out. It says that they're going to it will be available on the Steam beta branch on September 9th. As much as we would love to test it out on all the platforms, the logistics and patching process is only possible through Steam. So if you have Steam beta, then you'll be able to try it out.
They're really cryptic too about like what the character is going to be like. All that they've revealed is like these little pictures of like
they're like hieroglyphics.
Yeah, these hieroglyphs, and then you're supposed to think, okay, so the character is going to be similar to whatever these hieroglyphs are. So I'm thinking it's going to be something like a shaman or a priest or like a necromancer. Because it shows like some prayer symbols, it shows a grave like for necromancy.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be like some kind of shaman.
They've got the God of War Omega Greek symbol there too, or whatever. I'm sure I'm getting that a little wrong, but anyway, I think that's all on the news front for Slay the Spire. It's a good game. I like a bit more roguelikes than Mike, so I know I'm going to be playing it for a while here, but I'm also going to try to find a management game as well. Like I said, maybe Prison Architect, maybe 2 Point Hospital. We'll see.
Yeah, I had such a hard time getting into Prison Architect.
It's a lot different now. It's
tough.
like a more complete game now, which is nice.
Oh, really? Yeah, I tried it like a year ago. So
this is kind of where I'm at with. This is how I am with Prison Architect and with Kerbal Space Program. Is I played the games when they were first, basically released at beta, and it was really hard to get into that just because, I mean, the game was broken and glitchy and buggy to begin with, but now like I basically have to relearn the game again. Like when I first, I mean, no shame admitting this. I think when I first played Prison Architect, it was so long ago, it was when I was still pirating games. So on top of the game already being, like, broken and buggy, I was playing, like, a version that was never seeing updates or anything because it was from the Pirate Bay. So, like, there was just some weird shit that would happen in that game sometimes for me.
Yeah. Like, the problem with for me, especially like these sim building games, is that you need to put a lot of time in it to get really good and to get the full experience of the games. And they're just, especially nowadays, there's just so many fucking good games coming out, and just not enough time to play them all. And that's like the downside.
There really is.
That's why I've been like leaning more away from just like roguelike games, because I just really want to play games with a finish. I mean, a beginning and an end, and and more linear, because it's just very nice that just like, all right, I get through here and get to here, and that's it. That's the game. I'm like, awesome.
Well, okay, so let me do a quick survey here. So there's all three of us own PlayStation 4s. The 2 biggest games to come out on PlayStation last year were Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2, right? I mean, I'm sure that there's a little bit of argument there, but basically those were some of the 2 AAA games. I played Red Dead Redemption 2 for like 4 hours. Did you guys, either of you, play RDR2?
No.
I want to get into it though because I love like Westworld. I love like that whole entire atmosphere.
Okay. Did any of you guys play Spider-Man?
No, but I'm planning on picking up Spider-Man.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Tyler, did you play Spider-Man?
I didn't play it. I'm not really. I don't think I'm gonna pick it up either though. I'm not a huge superhero person.
Okay, but that goes to show, to reiterate your point, is the two, probably the largest, most anticipated games of last year. I touched one of them briefly, and none of us have even played the other ones. Like
we haven't even played Kingdom Hearts, and we waited like 15 years for that.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too.
Hearts too. I'm surprised none of you have played it yet, and yeah, that's dumbfounding for me because you guys talk about Kingdom Hearts nonstop and how much you guys like it. I'm surprised that neither of you bought the new one yet. In fact,
yeah, it's.
But the thing is,
it got
I haven't heard anything about
reviews.
it. Oh yeah, and that's it. It's like I only heard bad things about it. I didn't hear anything good at all about that game.
I think it was you, Tyler. You said a month after the game came out, you're like, "Hey, if you want to pick up Kingdom Hearts 3 right now, it's $30." And it was like,
you're like
March.
Meh.
Yeah.
All of that weight, and that's what it gets. Meh. That's great.
It's kind of like a kid-friendly game though, and we're at like a different stage of our lives now.
Yeah.
Like the whole Disney like aspect of it was so cool, and we were like teenagers, but it doesn't hold. I don't think it holds up anymore. Like I'm definitely gonna play through it at some point.
Heavily.
No, I disagree with that completely. Like I think that games for kids can be enjoyed by adults. The movies are the same thing. Pixar. Who doesn't love Toy Story? If you're, 6 years old, if you're, going on 30 here soon like us. The point is that you can make a timeless form of media, whether it is a game or whether it is a movie. Kingdom Hearts was just simply a bad game. It's not that I lost interest in that story. It's that the story was just shit to begin with.
And like that's why Disney's been going though. I feel like Disney's been going in that direction where their stories have just not been good. Or their rehashing. The
combat was amazing.
Or their stories have been bad. That's a whole other discussion.
Combat was the best part. I've said this 100 times, but I'll say it again. Kingdom Hearts 1 story was good, but they shouldn't have continued it. So I would say Kingdom Hearts story number 1, I liked that one, but it didn't have good combat. The combat, like fighting Sephiroth in the first one, was fun because your options were so limited. That's why it was so fun, because it was just like dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll, one swing, and then dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll, heal, and then dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll. Like
that Sephiroth fight in the first game was so difficult too.
But
yeah,
it was brutal. Awesome.
It's because the combat wasn't really fleshed out. Like they made it work for it, but the second Kingdom Hearts was a complete 180. The combat was awesome in Kingdom Hearts 2. You could have like Valor form and Wisdom form. You could have like 2 Keyblades, and you could have like Keyblades floating around you and all this other shit. But then the story just went to shit. Like one had good story and bad combat. The other one had good combat and bad story. They couldn't be consistent.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. Anyway, I had to make like a little. I don't have my usual script in front of me here. Movies. So, what movies did you guys watch this week? Anything?
Nothing. I mean, I'm gonna be seeing it soon, and I'm also gonna be seeing that horror movie called, I think, it's that hide and go seek movie. I think.
Which one? Okay.
It's about a woman who just gets married and goes to her husband's like family's house, and then they play like, if you want to join the family, you have to play a game, and like they make board games or something like that, and so she's like, okay, let's play a game. So they play hide and go seek. And she's the one that they're all going to have to go find. And it turns out they're trying to find her and kill her. And you find that pretty quickly when they accidentally kill a maid. So it looks like one of those good, fun horror movies. And so I'm pretty excited to see it. And the person who made The Babysitter made it. And so I'm really excited. Do you guys ever see that movie?
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love The Babysitter.
So it's like that feeling. It's like
it's got a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah, it's comedy horror. And so and it's a lot of blood. But not like grotesque blood. Just like a well balanced. Yeah, because like there's Saw, and then there's like it's like slasher. That's a perfect way to say it. It's another great comedy slasher film, and so I'm pretty excited to see that. So the story's pretty cool, honestly. I think a woman just running around this mansion, just trying to survive this whole family trying to kill her. Like Resident Evil 7. And so I think that'd be a fun thing to watch. And obviously I want to go see it too. But for movies, no. For TV shows, the British Baking Show has a new season, so I've been like watching / listening to that, and a little bit of Dexter. And Dexter's an okay show. Nothing really to write home about for me.
British Baking Show?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's kind of like one of Netflix's more popular television series. It's made in England, Great Britain, not Great Britain, and all that stuff. It's just a nice, easy watch. There's no drama. There's no people yelling at each other. Just people who come in, try to bake, and then then there's a winner. And that's what I really like about it. There's no stupid drama in it at all. It's just people come in, try to bake some stuff, and try to win, and that's it. And everyone's there kind of has a good time too, which is awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because I hate reality TV shows because there's so much fake drama in it, and it's just bad, just straight up bad for me. I can never get into like reality TV shows.
I don't know, like that's kind of what baking shows are now. Like baking shows are kind of reality shows now.
Yeah, but not the British Baking Show. It's actually like a real.
Is that what it's called?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called I think it's called the British Baking Show. Let me see.
Have you been like making stuff now?
No, I haven't, because I'm on keto. I can't be making this stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called the British Baking Show.
I gotta make some blueberry muffins now.
It's like watching porn for the guy on keto or something.
It's called
He's
the
like,
Great
God.
British. It's called the Great British Bake Off.
All right.
It called the Great British Baking. Yeah, it's called the Great British Baking Show. God, that's a tongue twister. Try to say that fast. And it's just a lot of fun. It's just they have two judges, and then they have like two kind of like main comedians who do like who explain the rules and all that stuff, and who stay with the contestants while they're baking all that stuff, just to keep a nice flow going.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people talk about it.
It's a nice, easy watch. It's just fun, and I mostly like to listen to it, and my girlfriend likes to watch it. It's good to have in the background. It's on Netflix. If you got it, I'd definitely give it a watch.
I've been watching a similar show called Zumbo's Just Desserts, and it's just like this Willy Wonka-esque kind of character who makes these crazy desserts. I mean, I don't need to get into any more than that.
Zumbo Baking Show.
Yeah, like Dumbo, but with a Z.
Yeah, I'm looking him up. Oh wow, this guy looks weird.
The show is very eccentric in terms of like bright colors and shit. Anyway, I don't want to be talking about this show. It's maybe like a 2 out of 5 star show to begin with. I don't want to give it any airtime.
We could just like critique baking shows.
Okay.
For the rest of the podcast.
That's what Tyler and I will do today. Yeah.
Have any of you guys seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark yet?
Yeah, I saw that.
What did you think? Like, it's Guillermo del Toro. Del Toro?
Guillermo del Toro. I thought it was not that great.
Yeah.
I'd give it a solid 6 out of 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know. Ben's review,
I would probably
maybe not
say
want
a
to go
4
see
out
it.
of 10.
Yeah. Ben's like, what Ben thought is like, I'll give it a pass. Especially when it has
There's some
kid actors.
good kid actors. There's some good kid actors in it, though.
Some. The rest
Not
are
all
bad.
of the stories that they go into are that interesting. Some, like, I thought the one where whenever the kid like changes direction, how like the guy appears.
Yeah,
The red room. The red room.
I
one
like
was
the
the
red
best
room
one.
a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ben said that
The
it
rest
was
of
his
them just
favorite too.
Yeah. Well, Tyler and I talked about this. Man,
I'll wait
someone
till it
is
comes
using your
on.
garage door like 100 times. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Sorry, Mike, if you're hearing like some like
It
vibrating
shows up
noise
for
on
a
your
second.
side.
It's not even noticeable. You don't worry about
It's
it.
like they know that we're trying to do a podcast and they're just hitting it constantly.
What does this button do?
It's time to figure out what all the
It's
buttons in
Brandy.
the house do. Is this
Brandy
the
the
dish?
dog
Is this
just being
The
a dick.
blender.
is this the sink disposal? Yeah, okay, so no, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I did go see It Chapter 2 though, and
How was
I'm not
that?
going to give a spoiler or anything. I would probably say it was subpar. Actually, I would give it a 5 out of 10.
5
Okay.
out of 10. I'm seeing it next week.
I think that you should see it. It's still worth seeing.
course.
It's
I'm
got
gonna
such
see
a
it.
good cast. 3 hours.
Oh, is it 3
So
hours
this isn't-
long? Fuck me.
Yeah, dude, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes. It's insane.
I think it's gonna be so good.
So once again, I just want to tiptoe around the movie because I don't want to say anything that would ruin it. But I will. I'm not giving any specifics out or anything. But I'm going to say the feel of the movie is that I think that they just like they couldn't just let Bill Hader be a scared guy, and so. I mean, he tells a lot of jokes in it, and it's like immediately after a scary part. And there's like not any recovery time to be like, oh, I'm scared. Oh wait, here's a joke now, I guess. Like,
That
like
happens
typically
a
there's
lot.
like a pause.
That happens a lot in the original
Were you the
movie.
one that told me Bill Hader's got like a huge anxiety issue?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in this role, it was kind of like similar to like what he goes through being like a celebrity and all.
Yeah, kind of. What Tyler's talking about, small tangent, is that Bill Hader has anxiety, and so he's described being on Saturday Night Live whenever he's out on the floor, you know, of the like
set.
whenever he's on the theater stage, he says he's always having panic attacks, like constantly. And I mean, what a guy for getting through that, you know. It says a lot about his character. It's got to be a tough life. But
What a bitch.
I feel like it's not only Bill Hader. I just feel like they couldn't get the feel right for the movie. It's like some parts were scary, and then it was like, oh, this is a joke now, I guess. And it's like they couldn't not let people have one-liners after every scare. It was really weird.
Gotcha.
Other than that, I appreciate that they tried to fit a lot into the movie. And that's all I'll say. I don't think it was exactly successful, but I like that they paid. For someone who read the book,
You think it's true to the book?
yeah, they
Wow.
tweak some things about the book, but the book is like 1,000 or 2,000 pages or something. It's a long fucking book. They try to at least reference almost everything in it, which is
Don't give away
admirable.
anything else because I'm pretty excited then to see what they do and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I'm not. That's all I was gonna say.
Nice.
I think the comedy is just really misplaced. That's
if you watch the
biggest
original
concern.
It movie, like when they're adults, they kind of have that exact same thing where it's like they get scared and that his character he plays does immediately that he says a joke right afterwards and all that stuff. So
Man, it just seems.
it's funny that they do it that way. Like I thought that was funny because like I was never scared of the original It, and the original It scared a lot of people. And I saw it when I was a kid, and I was like, "So you guys, I guess, are really afraid of clowns then, because it's not really that scary." But like
It just never
we
felt like
discussed
me.
though that I don't really get scared by movies that often at all, or video games.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you think about this movie, then, Mike. Yeah.
Mike, you got to play Alien Isolation
I can't get through that game. I'm trying.
before you decide that you're not scared of video games.
No, I know.
It's a pretty big claim.
We talked about that one before, and I said that's the one I still haven't been able to like, get through because it's honestly
incredible.
So actually, it didn't have that big of an issue. It was the robots and just like trying to get around the robots without making noises and stuff. I felt like the robots were more frustrating than scary.
Hey, you didn't play the game either, Ben.
Yeah, at least I can admit I didn't play the game.
I played some of it.
I played all of it, and the game's like 30 hours long.
Damn.
And I played it at night.
That's a lot
Wow,
of gameplay.
Tyler. You got
Fuck me.
huge balls. We all get it.
It's such a great game, though.
I think, I mean, we're getting close to our 50-minute point here. Tyler also made a list for our top 5, so I
just
don't
pull the
mean to
list out of his
push
ass.
this.
Yeah, we can start it up.
He's got 4 out of the 5.
Yeah,
He doesn't come up with
you
one.
just literally just
Like, do you
openly
even have an
admit
order?
on mic saying, "Oh yeah, I'm making the list now." I'm like, motherfucker.
He's not. He hasn't touched it. We've been talking for 50 minutes, and he hasn't fucking touched his list. Make at least an order. Give at least a number 1.
Do you want me to give the number 1 right now?
No.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start that off. For anyone who doesn't remember, our list this week is like classic arcade games. Now, last podcast we mentioned specifically 80s, but I saw a quick glance at Tyler's. Not that I was trying to; it's just on his screen. And we're gonna give some flexibility to specifically the 80s theme. So
Well, he's a guest.
yeah, my list is 80s. Mike, I think your list is also 80s.
Mine are all
arcade
80s.
games.
Yeah. I mean, trust me,
Yeah.
I could not go any further back. I would actually like to come back to this and do a top 90s. Because, man, and in the 90s, there was a lot of good ones, too, that I would love to talk about as well. You know,
yeah, I mean...
That'd be a really fun thing to do.
Fighting games came out in the 90s.
Yeah, not even just fighting games, a whole other lot of stuff, too, which I think would be really cool to go into. So I think for maybe the next top 5, at one point, I'd like to do top 5 90s arcade machines and stuff.
Yeah. We can figure that out. Actually, we didn't plan a next top 5, so we'll think about them after. I had a top 5 idea as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the podcast.
We'll get there.
We used to do that.
We'll burn that bridge
season.
when we get there.
Yeah. Well, it's what we do what we did in the first season. We would talk about it on the podcast, what we wanted to do. It's a good time burner. Let's see. So I think I started last time, so now you start this one.
Yeah, and then we'll have Tyler go last again so he can get a feel. Oh,
Yeah.
This week's episode sponsor, unofficial
shit,
sponsor,
that's right.
Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey Whiskey, which Tyler and I are drinking here. Pour another round. Here, Tyler, fill my glass.
Make sure you get the sound in there, too. Wait, make
It's
sure
so
you get the
freaking
sound
good.
of
Like,
the
if you ever...
Yeah. Here, hold it up to the microphone and pour.
Yeah. That's the stuff.
Liquid gold.
It's my go-to. I used to just do plain Jack, but the honey whiskey really adds something to the Jack and Coke.
I do the
really gets him through a hard day of nursing.
Wild turkey honey. Oh, that's fucking fantastic.
It gets me revved up for nursing, though.
Yeah.
On the drive to the hospital.
Oh shit.
Tyler without Tennessee whiskey in him, he'll go in and he'll be like...
Well, while I'm doing chest compressions, I'd like to have a Tennessee honey whiskey in one of my hands.
One hand that shit. Just seeing a nurse compresses of his chest one-handed while drinking just with Tennessee whiskey in the other.
Tech, I said 5 ice cubes, god damn it.
5 cc's. All right, so our top 5 list is top 5 80s arcade games. I'll go first. So we're going to name our number 5, our number 4, our number 3, and then we'll rotate. So it'll go Mike, top 5, top 4, top 3. Then it'll go Tyler, top 5, top 4, top 3, okay? Then we'll go my number 2, Mike's number 2, Tyler, your number 2, and then my 1, Mike's 1, and Tyler, then your number 1. So my number 5 is a game that was actually... The reason it's so low on the list is because it was actually made in 1979, but... It was popular in the 80s. It was popular in the 80s.
Boo!
Fuck off. The game is Asteroids. It would have been almost my number 1, but because it was 1979, I was like, fuck it, whatever. So Asteroids. 1979. Come on, that has to count. It's so fucking close. All right. But yeah, Asteroids. I love Asteroids. If you get an original Asteroids machine, it has a certain kind of what would you call it?
Flare?
TV, or like not... It's like a CRT television.
Oh, you're talking about the really bright light.
Yeah, the bright lights that came out of it. That was like the best part, is it was mesmerizing. It was the coolest
was incredible.
Part. Yeah.
Ben, you weren't getting memorized. You were having a seizure.
You kind of cut out there, Mike. What?
Oh, really? Oh, damn it. I said you weren't memorized. You were having a seizure.
You know, I'm sure that's probably the game why they started including those warnings on games, is the game was fucking bright. If you play on an original Asteroids machine, it's totally worth it. But I just like the simplicity of it, you know? Turn left, turn right, go, shoot. That's it. I think that all of these games have a certain simplicity to them.
There's also the momentum, too, which is interesting. If you just, you could speed off, and then you had to, reverse it and then slow down. There was no just stopping, which I thought was a really interesting function in that game. Was the movement alone.
Well, another reason why it's on the low end of my list is because I would get frustrated very easily at this game. As much as I loved watching people play and playing myself, you get so disoriented, and it's really hard to stay on top of your game. I always sucked at Asteroids. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, me too. I was awful at it.
Yeah, it was just really difficult. And when those fucking aliens came around,
bullshit.
I don't know.
Just such bullshit.
They would always just immediately get me and, take me away. I don't know if I was just playing too
Dude, all right.
Still, if I needed to move around more or something.
It's just like when you shoot an asteroid, it breaks up to more asteroids, and then it breaks up to more asteroids, and then you also include how the whole movement works, where you can't just stop on a dime. You literally have momentum going in a direction. You have to turn around perfectly the opposite direction and then go, which then slows you down instead of a complete stop. But then if you do it too much, then you start jetting off the other direction then, and you're just zipping across the screen. That game was hard.
It was tough. So yeah, I would probably rate it a bit higher if I was better at the game, but because I never got past like level 2, I always appreciated it but gave up really quickly. So number 5 is Asteroids. My number 4 is an old favorite. I think everyone has played this game at this point, but it's Tetris. Don't look at my list, Tyler.
Wow.
Sneaking a peek.
God damn it.
Tetris is amazing, though.
Fucker.
It's so good.
Yeah, Tetris is a great game. Stop look. Okay. Yeah, I think Tetris is just one of the best games. The reason that it is at number 4 is because I think that it is an even simpler game than Asteroids. You know, turn your block left, turn your block right, and then, you know, move where you want it to place it. It was very, very easy. But I would say the reason it's not higher on this list is because I was typically playing on the Game Boy. I actually never went to an arcade to play this game. So even though it's a great game, I never played it in an arcade setting. Like, I rarely played it in an arcade setting, I should say. Is that fair?
I mean, I've never seen a Tetris arcade machine my entire life.
You've really?
Yeah, I've never seen one of those. Tyler, have you seen a Tetris arcade machine?
Tyler actually jumped away to go to the bathroom, I think, very discreetly. I know, he's ruining the podcast.
But no, I've never seen a single Tetris
I can just
arcade
pretend
machine.
to be Tyler. No, I've never seen an arcade machine.
Damn.
Thanks, Tyler.
But I just I just never seen one before. You actually seen a Tetris arcade machine?
Yeah, all the time.
What? I'm shocked. I really am.
I saw one last weekend.
Where?
I was in San Diego last weekend. I went to a barcade. I saw one there.
Okay. I guess I just
Like,
didn't realize those existed.
I'm not lying. They exist.
I don't know. I think you might be lying.
All right.
All right. What's your number? Number 3.
My number 3 is Galaxian. So, I think that the series started with Galaga. Actually, I don't know anything about this series, whether it is related to Galaga or not, if it is a sequel or a spin-off or whatever. I always thought that Galaxian was the better version. It's a little bit faster. The graphics, from what I can tell, are a little bit cleaner. You can get dual ships, and
yeah.
I always just played Galaxian a bit more.
Yeah, Galaga was fucking fantastic. Wait, you said Galaxy or Galaga?
Galaxian.
Galaxian. Oh. Okay.
It's the same thing as Galaga, but there's more upgrades and stuff.
Yeah, it's got a bit more. Anyway, though, I always liked that game a lot. And I would probably say out of all these games, it's probably the one that I was able to get the furthest in. I was probably the best at Galaxian than I was at any of these other games. So, there's that.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your number 5?
How's your piss break, Tyler? You have a good one?
How did you know? Did you break it up?
Because I was trying to be discreet about it, and then Mike was like, "Yeah, Tyler, what do you think about that?" And it was just dead silence for a bit, and I was like, "Oh, Tyler's gone."
I was like, okay.
Nature
Trying to include it in the damn podcast, you're fucking not even there.
He doesn't even want to be here.
I know. Damn.
He's just whining all day. He's like, "Ben, do I have to be in your stupid podcast?" No one listens to it. And I was like, "Yeah, be in the fucking podcast, asshole."
Help a brother out. But Tyler, I was asking, did you ever see a Tetris arcade machine before?
A Tetris arcade machine?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Does it do something different?
No, I'm just guys. I never seen one. Ben says he's seen one, but I think he's kind of lying.
I haven't seen it either. I've only played it on the computer.
It's not like a unicorn or something. They exist.
there has to be a Tetris arcade machine.
I don't think so. I don't think one exists anymore.
Tetris is the most It's like the most bought and played game.
Yeah,
ever.
on the Game Boy.
Well, yeah, but that's mainly for the Game Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they existed, you know.
Because there's so many Tetris iterations. They've come out with.
No, we're not talking about like new ones. We're talking about back then, like in the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't.
Yeah, it's got the fucking. It has the fucking Moscow, you know, main building on the fucking cabinet, and
I don't trust you. You mean cartridge, not cabinet. Cartridge, because it's only on the Game Boy.
No, the arcade cabinet. There was the fucking Moscow building on it. It was drawn on. I fucking saw it.
Oh no!
Wait, Moscow?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Russia.
Tetris is Russian?
Are you kidding me?
Are you for
Dude,
real?
The theme
Freaking
song.
way!
The theme song from Tetris is a Russian.
You gotta be kidding me!
Oh my god!
That's like a Russian
Tyler.
music.
Okay, here. This is what I'm gonna do. All I'm gonna do is type in.
This is what the Russians hear like on their way to school.
All I'm gonna do is type in Tetris wallpaper into Google. That's all I'm gonna do.
There's gonna be like
enter.
the hammer and sickle.
We're gonna go over to images. Okay, it's showing. Okay, we'll type in classic Tetris because right now it's showing like all these modern
Tetris. Type in Tetris Soviet Union. Stalin. Tetris Stalin.
All right, here.
There's no way that this is a Russian name.
Okay, classic Tetris arcade. Fucking there.
Yeah.
Look at all this shit.
Tetris is a title matching puzzle video game originally designed and programmed by Soviet-Russian software engineer Alexei Londonov.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Motherfucker.
That's
I'm
pretty
surprised you
cool.
never knew
The
that.
Russians, they didn't beat us to the moon, but they beat us in another way.
To the arcade.
Vodka.
Allegedly.
They beat us in two ways: vodka and Tetris.
So those were Ben's 4 through 3. 5 through 3, sorry.
No, my 5 through 3.
I can count. I swear. So then I'll go next. My number 5 is Galaga. Galaga, I enjoyed it. It's on the bottom because I was bad at it, though. But I thought it was a really fun, I don't know what you call that type of style of just space shooter, where, you know, they just calm down all that stuff. Because you
Like a wave shooter or something, I guess.
I guess
don't
so.
know.
Yeah, wave shooter would be a great way to look at it. And I was awful at it, but I've always had fun playing it. It's one of the arcade machines I would always go to as well. I always make sure to at least play some Galaga when I was at the arcade. And really not much else to say about it. Honestly, I thought it was a solid wave shooter. I enjoyed that you know, there was a way to get an additional ship to shoot at the same time. So it's like, because there's an enemy to capture your ship, and so then it would then make you use another life. But then you can get that ship back if you killed that one enemy that stole your ship, and they would come down, and then you would have 2 ships in a single round, which I thought was a really cool mechanic. So then, but what was also awesome too is that if one got hit, you would just lose that ship, and you still had your original ship too, so you didn't really lose another life then. It was kind of like a give and take of risk. I thought it was a really cool system to put in there. But once again, though, I wasn't able to fully get into it just because I was not good at the game. My number 4 is Dig Dug. I fucking love Dig Dug. It is just the simplicity of it and like what the style of it and everything. I just had so much fun in it. I always thought it was cool. I always thought it was funny too that there's one enemy left. It would always run away from you, and then you had to race to kill this one creature. So
Yeah,
you first start in the game to, hey, I got to survive these creatures. You know, I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? And then like the last one's like, come here, fucker. Where are you going? I'm gonna kill your ass. And so I always thought it was the funniest thing to do. Once again, like these are very simple games, so there's really not much to talk about. And if you don't, I guess it'd be hard to describe Dig Dug.
It works good. It works well anyway because we've got 3 people now instead of 2, so it's not like we need to spend a bunch of time with explaining why they're great. The other thing I'm gonna mention too is it's about 1,000,000 degrees in Tyler's room since we turned off the fan. So if this episode is a little short on the shorter side, I think Tyler and I are perfectly okay with that.
Okay,
as well.
cool then. Yeah. Okay. And then
so we don't need to go into major descriptions.
my third one was another one I always made sure to play was Missile Command. I absolutely love Missile Command, and I still love Missile Command today too. It's a great game
With
that
missile.
if I ever came across in a web
I'll
browser
pull it up.
game, I would
Oh.
always definitely play it.
You gotta stop from hitting the ground, right?
Yeah, well, you have 3 bases that shoot out a missile, and depending on where you clicked on the area to shoot your missile, whatever
Yeah,
base
yeah.
is closer would shoot it up. And then when it shoots, you can choose to detonate it too, which then would explode it. And so your main goal is to destroy all the missiles coming down. And now the missiles didn't actually... All you have to worry about is the missiles hitting your bases. They can hit the ground, no big deal, but you have to watch out for them actually hitting your actual bases, because if they hit a base, then you can no longer shoot missiles from that base anymore. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And those are my my bottom 3, starting from number 5, Galaga, number 4, Dig Dug, and number 3, Missile Command. Tyler, what's your
All
bottom
right.
3?
Did you think of a 5th?
Okay, so when you told me that we're doing arcade games, you didn't specify the years.
Motherfucker.
So mine are just, I don't think a single one of mine is from the 1980s.
That's fine. Tyler is a special guest.
Okay, so
Emphasis on the special.
bottom 3. Let's go with House of the Dead. House of the Dead was incredible.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
it was a
it's
fantastic
like
one.
this. It was like the go-to game when you're at like an arcade with a bunch of friends and you're just like, I don't know, you're all hyped up on caffeine and shit. And you're just trying to like squeeze that trigger as fast as humanly possible.
That was the best thing about those old games is, you could just load in onto anything on the screen just as fast as you could pull the trigger. There was no, like, downtime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then shot to the side to reload,
Yeah.
and then just, back at the screen. Your finger was just always twitching.
I don't think anyone's ever won that game either. Like you'd have to have like a serious amount of money for being
yeah.
like 12 years old
Well, they are
to play through the entire game of House of the Dead.
That's every
the
single.
point, yeah.
That's every single arcade game. They're meant to eat all your quarters. You're meant to die.
I wonder
and
if
then-
there's like professional House of the Dead players,
Oh yeah, obviously.
like the
There's-
Kobayashi of House of the Dead.
Yeah, I wonder if people speedrun arcade games. I never thought about that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
they do it, but they probably do it with PC emulators and stuff and all that.
Alright, so House of the Dead is one of the most classic gun shooter
Yeah.
arcade games, like whatever you would
It was
call
one of the
it.
ones I was going to
Okay.
bring up if we were talking about 90s arcade machines, because I absolutely love that fucking machine. That was always a lot of
So
fun.
next on my list is Contra. This game is like the most classic game
Contra,
ever.
That's actually an 80s game. You actually got an 80s game in there.
Is it 80s?
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, yeah, Contra was such like a fast like run and gun.
It's a shit
shoot.
one, but it is an 80s
Yeah.
one.
You didn't like it? It was so good.
1987, there you go.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I can't believe it counts. Okay, awesome.
No,
Contra was so good.
It was a good one.
There was like multiple things. It wasn't straightforward either. There was like little mini games and stuff where it would be like over the shoulder. There was tons of stuff going on. There was bosses.
Yeah, their respectives changed from like the classic duties to, like you said, to like basically third person.
It was a really good multiplayer game too.
Yeah, you would have to play a
And
multiplayer.
And I like the whole like upgrade mechanics, how you could switch like whatever gun you're using. There's a lot of games that are like based off of Contra now. Like Metal Slug, for instance, is really
Metal
similar to
Slug.
Contra.
The most obvious example, yeah.
Metal Slug, love that one. But man, like, talk about a death game. You die all the time in Metal Slug. But I love the art style of Metal Slug. So good. I think that's like my favorite thing. Like, I wasn't much of a fan of Contra, but Metal Slug, so good. Perfect.
Okay, next on my list, this is a game probably you guys have never heard of. Altered Beast. It's kind of similar to Contra in a way. It's a game where it's very similar to Contra, but it's like there's a lot more punching it and you go through. It's a side scroller. You go through and you get power ups and you turn into like different beasts or monsters. And there's a boss at the end of each level, and you just try to like get as many power-ups as you can and get through and get as far as you can.
Okay, so you can like transform your muscly guy into animals. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
And
the
the
game called again?
graphics. Altered Beast.
Altered Beast, yeah. And it has like this the soundtrack to it is like really reminiscent, like whenever like I hear like "Welcome to your doom," I think Altered Beast immediately.
Oh, that's
it was on the Sega Genesis.
Game.
It was also an arcade game.
There you go.
Another 80s game. Where you go?
Oh, really? Okay, I'm still on the list. Everyone was jacked as fuck in that game.
This guy's bicep is bigger than his head in this picture.
Uh-huh. And you could turn into a ton of different beasts. There was 5 different power-ups.
So let's see. There's like a cat man, underwater, like a sea monster kind of guy.
They could all do different things. Like some of them could fly. And there was like 2 different attacks for each of them. The bear was the best, I remember. The bear had like all these like defensive attacks.
Wait, these are the same guys on the side here. There's a cat and a cat. Are you sure there's not just...
It's a werewolf. You're not turning into a cat.
So there's a werewolf, a cat,
Catman,
a bear, and a fish.
Yeah, this game was the best. You guys got to try it out.
and a tiger.
Yeah, cat.
Okay, so next on my list, a game you guys actually played.
No.
Those are your 3, right?
Your 3.
House of the Dead, Contra, Altered Beast.
So this is my top game on my top 4.
No.
Stop. It's now
So,
Ben's turn.
I do my number 2.
Oh,
Mike
okay,
does his number 2. Then you do your number 2 / your number 1 if you didn't make 5. Okay, my number 2 is Track and Field. This is a game that basically no one's ever played, but it was a great game, I promise. Mike, this is a game that was at Nickel City, one of our favorite arcades to go to back in the day.
Yeah.
So Tyler, let me pull up a picture for you. That's not right.
I think we should...
Track and Field.
He's been to Nickel City with us. I'm pretty sure he's seen it.
Yeah, but so Track and Field was one of the funnier games because it was basically 1 or 2 buttons, and they were just, a left button and a right button, and all that you did was just abuse the crap out of those buttons. Like if you're running, the goal is to just slap them simultaneously as fast as possible, like and like that's how you ran. And so when we played this in high school, when we would go to our shitty arcade, it was just always funny because you would hear someone wherever you were in the arcade. You would hear someone playing Track and Field because you just hear this guy slapping the machine like tapping the buttons back and forth, and so like it always started out with like the long run, and then the sprint, and then there was the long jump, and then the pole throwing, and then the discus. So like you go through each of the Olympic categories and just based off those 2 buttons. But the game was so funny and so simple and so easy to watch. Like the best part about it was that it wasn't really hard to break anyone's conversation in the game because the everything about it was so simple. So the best part about it was simply that it was a game that people could view and enjoy, and you wouldn't be like throwing off their game or like talking behind their back. It was just like run. There was no strategy to it other than just slap the buttons as hard as you could. So that's why it was one of my favorite games.
Nice.
But that was Track and Field, and very good game. And I never beat that game. There's quite a few different categories you can do, or different events, I guess, and it was always very, very difficult.
Oh yeah.
Mike, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Rampage. You guys should know this game.
Yeah.
See? Rampage is a fucking fantastic game. That game was fun. If you don't know what it is, you just play as monsters. Your main goal is to go from the left to move all the way to the right. And as you're doing that, you're destroying... Actually, no, sorry, it's one screen. Yeah, what am I talking about? It's just all one screen. I was thinking about the later versions of it. And all you do is destroy all the buildings in that level, and then when all the buildings are destroyed, you win. And while you're doing it, though, you have, like, soldiers coming in, you have planes, tanks, and they can shoot you off the buildings and stuff. But what's great, too, though, is, like, when you're destroying the buildings, you can grab the humans that are in the buildings and then just eat them and stuff. Or you can squish the soldiers. And if you wanted to and be an asshole, you can knock off the other players off the building too and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Always enjoyed it. It's a fantastic game. They remade it a couple of times and it's just glorious. It's still fun. It's a great, just a multiplayer game. There's 3 characters you can play as. You can play as a gorilla, a giant monkey, giant
Liz
werewolf.
the lizard or Lizzie or something.
Yeah, and then there's the giant lizard named Lizzie.
George.
And then George
the,
and
monkey.
Ralph. And then Ralph was
yeah.
the wolf. And yeah, super fun. Honestly, it's still a good game today too. But during the arcades, that was always a run to play every single time. Tyler.
Rampage was always one of the best co-op games to play. It was awesome because you could have 3 people in it and play cooperatively. That didn't usually happen in arcades. Like Mortal Kombat, for example, was a game that you always played against each other, but
It's
like
cool
more
to
than one
play
person,
as
it was
the
hard to
villain.
find co-op games.
It's one of the few times you can be the villain, like the monster destroying the city and all that, and to be just like the punch holes and just like the eat people. It was just a really cool concept for that time in the day, and it still is too, I believe. It's fun being the bad guy. But yeah,
that was a good one.
For my number 2, Tyler, what's your top dog on your list?
My top dog is Gauntlet Legends. It's
Yes.
not 1980s. Like the first Gauntlet's probably 1980s, but it was so good.
Yeah, trust me, I wanted to put that on my list so badly, but it wasn't like the old version was not the one I know. Like Gone Legendaries, so fucking good.
Yeah,
Damn.
it was such a good like late night order some pizza with your friends.
Damn.
Stay up late.
That is just
I love this game as well.
great.
I love playing as the wizard in this game, though. I hated the barbarian class where he's just throwing the axes all the time, but I love being like the magic class.
Magic. I like the archer too a lot.
Yeah, the archer was the one I usually played as. Gone Legends, so much fucking fun. Damn, that was such a good game. I want to put this on my list so badly. But
there was a lot of good stuff in that game too. I mean, there was like secrets and like
upgrades.
Upgrades and
bosses,
chests and breakables and stuff too. I mean,
I'm
I
looking
think
at it
even
now.
the original game had secrets and upgrades and stuff as well. So like it was ahead of its time.
It was a good series. I like continually bought the games when they came out.
Yeah, there's like secret characters you can unlock too. So good. So fucking good. Ben, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Donkey Kong. I love Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's probably my go-to arcade game where
arcade.
It's where you got to climb the construction. You know, he
that's the one. Okay, yeah.
knocks down the pillars and you got to climb up.
The bad one, right?
The bad one. Fuck you.
It is. The game is fucking impossible to play, and it's just climb the stupid fucking ladder. I'm shitting on your list all the way through.
I can tell that. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for
You're
making me
welcome.
feel good. No,
Thank you for just making it so easy.
I think that it had a good sense of challenge. There were like 3 levels that you rotated through, and every time that you played a different level, like it either sped up the obstacles faster, or it had a good job of mixing it up. And
So much
also,
bullshit in this game. I cannot stand that game. I just feel like that game was a fucking pain in the ass to play.
I remember the falling damage was kind of dumb in the game. There was a level that had moving platforms, and if you jumped too late on a platform and you hit it, like if you fell too far to get to the platform, it would kill you. So that was bullshit.
If they just had the first level and just made it like go faster or change it up every time or made it more difficult, I would like the game a lot. Because the first level was hard enough for me already, and then they throw the one with the moving platform. I was like, fuck this. No. I was like, I could not play that game at all. I avoid that game at the arcade like the plague.
Sucks to suck, Mike.
Yeah, I know. It does. It really does. I just was awful at that game.
Yeah. And, I mean, on top of it being a legitimately fun game, I think that it did spawn a bunch of great characters, too. You know, Donkey Kong.
Was Mario in that game before Mario?
Yeah.
Is that like the first Mario game?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that was the first time concept of Mario.
Princess Toadstool, formerly, you know, and then who became Peach later on. But, yeah, so a lot of characters. Or actually, no, that wasn't Peach initially, but her name was, I think, Princess Toadstool. Whatever. I know that there's like some whole fan theory or whatever about it, but yeah, I mean, that game started the biggest franchise in all of gaming, being Mario. So on top of it being a fun game, it also has just a huge responsibility to how gaming currently is.
Fuck that game. Just straight up fuck that game.
Mike, what's your number one?
My number one is Star Wars, the classic arcade machine that came out in 1983. That game, every single time I went to arcade, I went just straight to play this game every fucking time and waste all my money on this game. This game was fucking awesome. Loved it to death. It's so good. You always fly as a TIE fighter, and then it's like, but like all the graphics are just straight up lines and a black background with dots on it, and everything is just pure just lines. It's like hysterically just the lowest you can get in graphics, if you could even call them that. But damn, I fucking love that game. You can like fly, like the levels are just like flying around the Death Star. You know, you first start on the outside of it, taking out the turrets, then you go down the canal to shoot all that stuff. There was so much to that game. I loved it to death. It was so good. I just loved playing that game nonstop.
Sounds like a stupid game, Mike.
Oh, it's a lot better than your
Sounds
fucking
like
list put together.
Yeah, Star Wars sucks, Mike.
Your list sucks. No, I'm just joking. Especially your 1979 bullshit with asteroids. I saw that too, by the way. I saw that and I was like, I bet you Ben's still gonna do that too. I knew it. Motherfucker.
Haters gonna hate. All right, Tyler, what you got? What's your... Nope, you already gave yours.
I don't have a number one.
We'll just do an encore. Gauntlet Legends.
Gauntlet Legends once
You guys are breaking
again.
into it.
Oh, yeah. All right, so to go back through my list, then we'll do a repeater. My number 5 is Asteroids. My number 4 is Tetris. My number 3 is Galaxian. My number 2 is Trek and Field. And my number 1 is Donkey Kong. Mike,
Big pile
what
of
are your
shit with
fives?
that. Number 5, Galaga. Number 4, Dig Dug. Number 3, Missile Command. Number 2, Rampage. And number 1, Star Wars. A real fucking list.
Tyler, what's your
All
1, 2,
right.
and 3, and 4?
House of the Dead, Contra, Altered Beast, and Gauntlet Legends.
All right. I didn't really have any honorable mentions. I mean, Pac-Man is there, but
Fuck
honestly,
Pac-Man. I'm sorry. It's not a good
I
game.
never really rushed over to Pac-Man. I
Never.
played it because it was popular, but I never like was good at it.
I
never
played because it was there, and that was it. I did not care for it. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, it was never a game I was excited to play for. I would never wait in line for Pac-Man.
I think there was one arcade game that was, let's see, that I'd like to mention. Give me one quick second. It'll take me 2 seconds to find it. That I never really played an arcade machine, but do you guys remember those, like it was like a joysticking a block you can buy and has like a bunch of arcade games on it, and all you do is plug in your TV?
Yeah, the plug and plays.
Those plug and plays, those were actually really fucking good, by the way. I thought that was a great idea, and I enjoyed those immensely. I had a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah, I
see.
agree.
Let's see. I don't know if it's going to be shown, but this is... Oh, yeah. Xavius. Yeah. Xavius, that was mine. Honorable mention. I had that on my thing, and really enjoyed playing that nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, nothing else, really. And then, but yeah. Now, what about our next top 5 for next week? What do we want to do for
Well, I was
that?
thinking... I was hopeful that we would be able to do a top 5 games, like, before we've done one that... a list that's called top 5 games that we want to play that we haven't gotten around to, and they were games that we own. I was thinking that maybe this time we could do top 5 games that we want to play as of, right now. We were talking about, Red Dead Redemption 2 and Spider-Man. Like, I think that there are, even from last year, even from 6 months ago, there are brand new games that I am really interested in playing that I just, for one reason or another, I haven't bought yet, whether I'm waiting for a good sale or whether I'm, in the middle of something else or the game is too long. Like, I don't know. What do you think about that?
So, what exactly is games that we want to play that are out now or coming out exactly?
Games that we don't own.
Okay, that we want
So
to
games
play.
that we haven't bought yet.
Yeah, I'll be down for that. I can easily do that. There's a couple of games that I don't own that I'd like to play. I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
And then I'll be playing Slay the Spire this week and Prison Architect, or if I decide to upgrade to 2 Point Hospital, I might be playing that. But yeah, so the roguelike Slay the Spire, and then also maybe a management game, depending on, we'll see how new Prison Architect is versus how it was before. Mike, what are you going to be playing this week?
Heroes Might and Magic 3, some Remnant from the Ashes, and then I got to finish Resident Evil 7 on the harder difficulty. I've
just been saying that for a month.
It's been like 2 weeks.
Oh, you're just replaying the whole game?
Yeah, I'm at the boat part already. I'm already basically almost done with the boat level on the Madhouse difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you're doing Madhouse? Oh, how is it? It's really hard?
It's not bad. They changed where things are at, actually, and they actually throw in a whole bunch of items to unlock in the main lobby area. You remember when you have to use, where the shotgun is, Tyler?
Yeah.
So they changed that whole thing up. There's like a whole different ways you can do it now, which is cool.
You knew about the secret shotgun, right?
Yes. I don't want to talk about because Ben wants to play it, and I'm doing it this time with the secret shotgun. And so yeah, and so I'm glad I have it because there is a part where you fight one boss, but instead of fighting one, you fight two, and I'm like, it came in real good handy. And I want to hear your opinion on this. What do you think of the flamethrower in the game? I think it's the worst piece of shit ever, except for the one time you need to use it in that one scenario.
Yeah, the flamethrower, it's the damage isn't that good. There's garbage. It doesn't stop them from coming at you.
Yeah, it doesn't stagger them at all, and the damage is nothingness. And I'm like, what is this bullshit? And what's really irritating is that, what I found out is that the ammo drops are random. So when you open crates and stuff, yeah. So you have a random chance of getting useless pyro, which you can turn into. If you have that chemical to break down stuff, you can break into more chemical sacks to make bullets. But I'm like, I kind of need more advanced bullets, so it's kind of still useless. But you can use it to make herbs. But I'm glad
you're enjoying the game. I thought it was incredible. I think it's the best Resident Evil without a doubt.
I totally disagree. I don't think it's the best one. I think it saved itself at the boat scene. When you get to the boat, it saved. It starts to feel like more Resident. It definitely feels Resident Evil to me. And the DLC. The DLC was great. I love the DLC. I wish that I wish the game was more like the DLC, to be honest. Like, you know how you can stagger and then you can do like a single hit kill then? I really wish that was in like the boat scene when you play as the other character and all that stuff. I
think it's pretty cool that you play as pretty much a nobody the entire game.
Yeah, which I thought was great.
You figure out why it's a Resident Evil game once the boat part starts up.
Exactly. I thought that's when I fell in love with it. Like, this is a Resident Evil game. And I was like, fuck yeah, it's Resident Evil. I got so into it then, dude. It's like, it really saved the game for me. And then the DLC was just completely awesome. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking Umbrella
There's a
Company.
really off-the-walls...
Yeah,
there's a really off-the-walls DLC that you got to pay for it, but the paid-for DLC is pretty good.
Is that the one in the house, or is that the one when you play as the other relative? Which one is that one?
There's one that you play as a different relative, but his whole thing is that he's like a brawler, so it's like you're playing as Brick from Borderlands.
Oh my god!
And you're just going around. It's just punch out, man. You're just punching the fuck out of these mutant zombies.
Yeah, I read the description. The description is like something, distant relative is fighting with his bare hands. I'm like, wait, what? Is he just punching then? I'm like, okay.
You'd probably like it. It's a lot more action. So it's more similar to like the more action intense parts of the game.
So does he only use his fists the whole entire time?
Yes.
Oh my god, that is just insane.
And you can do like combos and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Like fighting combos.
The higher difficulty make them do a shit more term damage. But they do give you the pistol, a stronger pistol right off the bat though. But they balance because they give the pistol has a slower rate of fire and only can have 3 bullets in a magazine. So
it's just such a beautiful game. The engine that they have running it, like it's incredible. The graphics.
It does look fantastic, but when you first play it, it's just like, damn, it just doesn't feel right, and just didn't. But the second playthrough was definitely a lot better. It felt more Resident Evil when I replayed it again. I was like, okay, I can see it now and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I really like to go deeper in it with you too. I'd love to talk more. I wish Ben actually I would love to come back to Resident Evil 7 when Ben beats it, when he gets a chance to play it.
Yeah.
Because because like I would love to dive into that whole conversation with you because you clearly absolutely love it. I'm kind of like, it is a Resident Evil game, but I don't think it's the best one. And so we gotta definitely get Ben to play it and beat it, so then we all can discuss it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, because it's like, so it's good. I'm enjoying it a lot. I just got sidetracked by Remnant from the Ashes, and then Heroes of Might and the Magic 3. But yeah, I'm really glad you let me out it, because like as soon as I got that boat scene, Tyler, it's like, I swear I was ready to put down the game. I was like, I don't know how much I can go. And then like the boat scene comes, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah. It was great. Yeah. Such a good moment.
Yeah, but, it's just so cool how they completely changed the whole concept of the game. Like, everything's totally different.
I really wish that when you're on the...
Instead of it being a horror-focused game, it turns into a little bit more action.
Yeah, more back to Resident Evil style. And I really wish that they made it so, like, when you're in the boat playing the other character, I really wish that you could do the stagger punch move. Because, she's actually a soldier and all that stuff. And then it'd be cooler because in the DLC you can aim down sight, but you still can't aim down sight with that character. I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. I was like, it would really show you the difference between her and then the main character and all that stuff right away. It's like the main character, he's just a fucking average Joe, so this makes sense. And so I thought that was a really cool experience when I played the DLC because you're a fucking soldier. You're trained. You're experienced. So you use this, the iron sights. You use your some like close combat stuff and all that stuff. So I thought that was a really cool difference of feel to it. But yeah, before we go too deep into it, I think it's a good time to wrap up this podcast and all that stuff.
Okay, Tyler, what are you going to be playing this week?
Probably more Slay the Spire, honestly.
Nice.
Nothing else on your radar?
I've actually been meaning to play through. I've been meaning to play through Resident Evil also because I got it on my PC, and I never did Madhouse difficulty. I beat all of the DLC options for it, but
nice.
I want to get through like the Madhouse difficulty like you're doing.
It's definitely worth it.
I want to unlock everything.
It's definitely worth it to play through it.
It also there's also a really good speed run thing that if you beat the whole entire game in under 4 hours, then you unlock a lot of stuff. So I kind of wanted to do that too.
I feel like that's gonna be pretty easy because the main game is pretty darn short, especially if you know where you're going and all that stuff. You know what you got to do, and since if you can do it on any difficulty, I think that'd be pretty. I can already figure out being that pretty easy to do. I beat the DLC in an hour and like 11 minutes, actually.
Yeah, the DLC is short.
Oh, it's super short, which is sad. But honestly, it's a good length. I thought it was a good overall length, especially with the story, too. But yeah, with that out of the way, I think this would be a good time to the podcast. Thank you for struggling with us with our new kind of system, throwing someone new.
Yeah, there was a couple hiccups, but I mean...
I would love to do this again. I would like to do this again, but next time... I have to admit, I didn't expect Tyler to be on this podcast either until we're doing this podcast right now, the same day that we're doing the podcast. So I think that's what kind of caused, and I don't think Tyler knew he was going to be on the podcast either. Did you today?
He knew
earlier today.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind this is kind of a surprise. And so I feel like next time I'd love to have you on again, Tyler, honestly. I think it's great having you on, especially since a lot of times when we're on this podcast, you come up a lot. So with a lot of the games we play and a lot of good moments when we play multiplayer games.
Yeah, okay. Like, he doesn't even listen to it. We're over here talking about, like, oh, Tyler, he plays all these games. He's awesome. And he's a great
you guys friend
got a
of
podcast, huh?
You doing that? But I think it'll be a lot better when we're more prepared for it. Ben kind of sprung this on us, but I'm so happy we did it, though. I think it's a great experience, and I think this is still a good podcast. Fun. Yeah. And then on that note, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Do drugs. Drink some good old Tennessee whiskey. And have a good time.
Yeah. Okay.
We're ending the podcast now. But.
And pirate games. Bye.
Do we clap?
No. Please clap.
Please clap.